Okay, welcome everybody to the Helm developer call. It is May 28th, 2020. Looks like we do have some announcements. The first one up is Bridget.
Hi, just letting everyone know that Jessica Dean has a session at DockerCon today in about 3 hours from now, and I'll be handling Q&A in her chat. And if you're the sort of folks who like going to conference chats and answering questions, dropping links in the chat, please show up. It is a free registration and all the links and info you need are right there in the, I was gonna say show notes, we're not doing a podcast, in the Helm Weekly Developer Call docs.
Okay, and then we'll jump into discussions. The first one is from me. I was kind of hoping some more maintainers would be on board for that. So I'll probably carry this over till next week as well. It's really, I just wanted to discuss kind of a policy to put in place around chart testing fixtures and unit tests. I've been opening up a bunch of pull requests trying to reorganize how we do test fixtures. The practice has been since moving to Helm 3, we've just been copying test fixtures over and over again or pointing to old ones. So I was going through and noticing that a lot of unit tests were referencing chart fixtures that were in other packages. And then in that original package, they weren't even being used. So it was just referencing external packages, and that was the only place. So it could have been moved to local. So I've been going through and cleaning up a lot of that. And a lot of the test fixtures are pretty bloated. Like we had like a kitchen sink test fixture that kept getting copied over and over again. So whenever we make changes or updating, it makes it a big pain to update like a huge test fixture. So what I'm trying to do is move those to smaller test fixtures local to the package, and if possible, have them be in memory, meaning don't load a full chart if it's not needed. If just a chart object is needed, then just create it in memory and use it for that. That way it's a lot more clear what is actually being tested, what has to be modified if changing a test. So I want to change that across the board, and also just make it known to maintainers that if you see this come through in a pull request, maybe push back on it and just let the person know like how we want to handle that moving forward. So I'm not quite sure if it needs to be documented anywhere or if it just needs to be something that we're all aware of, because it might be difficult to document this somewhere, because it's something that I want it to be on like a unit test basis. So it might just be something we want to be aware of when reviewing pull requests.
Adam, suggestion on that.
Uh-huh.
Rather than stringent documentation, maybe a dump of a couple of patterns of the code somewhere, so that, because I suppose I didn't get time to look into it, so I wasn't sure what the of what you were going at the time. But now that you explain it, it makes great sense. And I'm with you on it, because I think what we've been doing for a lot of period of times, and I'll hold my hand up, I'm really guilty of it, is copy paste of the unit test. So I think the only way to get this right going forward is if there's a pattern somewhere, or one or two patterns that says, right, this looks like the unit case, we can all reference it, and then we're on the same wavelength as you, because you're probably about 20 lengths ahead of us here. And you're thinking right way. So maybe that's the only thing I'd say, is maybe a pattern or two, so that if we're reviewing code or we're giving suggestions to other people, or even when we're writing our own PRs, we do it right. Because I know we have really bad habits. It's like, driving with one hand and a steering wheel, that kind of way. So that's my only suggestion on it. But I think great work, and well done, basically.
Yeah, a pattern hasn't really emerged yet. What I've been going through is just cleaning it up and finding what the issues are. But that's exactly what it is. It's copy paste issues, and it's moving code to different packages when we were refactoring for Helm 3, and we just never updated the test fixtures. So I think for right now, the only thing to do for all the maintainers is just to notice that if a pull request comes in, that's just a few line changes, but then it includes like 50 extra files for the test fixture, then maybe that's a red flag and say, hey, see if you can't slim down this text fixture to be only what you need. And I think that's the only thing to do right now until we have a better practice in place or a better example. My goal is to actually set up like a fixtures package where you could actually get a chart in memory just by calling like a certain function. But I've reviewed a couple pull requests recently where it's just changing something small, and the number of files being added in the pull request is like 50 when it's only for a test fixture, and that just doesn't need to happen. For a test fixture for a chart, technically all you need is a chart.yaml for a valid chart. So if we could slim it down to something like that, if it's testing values, then just have a fixture that just has a values file. It doesn't need all the templates in place or included in it. It doesn't need a helm.ignore file. It doesn't need a notes.txt. So that's the kind of stuff I'm trying to cut out right now. And then from that, maybe figure out a pattern like what you're talking about, and then have documentation for that. So step one is just cleanup, which is what I'm working on now. And it's also just be aware if this stuff's coming in, let's just stop the cruft from coming in right now. So again, I'll bring it up again next week. Hopefully more maintainers will be on next week. And maybe I'll have something more of a pattern by then. And then let's see, next is one from Matt Farina. I don't think he's on board with us.
Yeah, I think he's out this week, so we can push that one to next week too.
Okay. And then follow up from the 14th. We're missing some people here.
Yeah, that's me.
On board.
Frederick speaking here, Redhead. Just wanna check on. So as we discussed like two weeks ago, after that we created the issue at the GitHub, and there was some open question discussion going on. So I just want to check if there are some other open questions left, or we could start working on some implementation. Just want to get like a green light on this, or there are some major open questions which need to be first discussed and solved. I mean, it's more like a signal for you. We don't have to discuss it here if we can do it offline, but just want to kind of ping you about that.
Okay, yeah, I haven't reviewed that issue yet. If anybody else has some comments, feel free to chip in or chime in.
I think Dr. Butcher had a lot of interest, but he's not here today, so maybe we should.
Yeah, Matt was also asking some questions, and we tried to kind of answer them, so that would be good, helpful if he can also take a look on that and kind of verify if you are aligned.
Maybe Predrag, maybe ping the Mats when they're on Slack if you get a chance, and you know, you could get some conversation over and going as well.
Or ping them on GitHub so that we can capture the conversation in the continued issue. That would be awesome.
Well, I'm pretty sure that he got emails on him, but because he was already involved in conversation, he must have got the emails from GitHub at least, right? Yeah. Okay, thanks.
All right, and the next one is Mark with Cobra and completion.
Did the one before mine get moved, or Joe had one?
Oh, did I miss one? Oh, yes, Joe. I'm sorry.
So this was just something that every now and then I take a quick troll through the issues and see if there's anything I can answer real quick. And this particular user, he was a little aggressive, but his question was, why is it required to specify the chart? Why can't Helm just reuse the chart that's embedded in the release? And the answer, the issue was closed with the answer that the unrendered chart isn't embedded in the release. But I looked at it and I went, wait, I thought it was. And I looked at a release that I had in a cluster I was using for some demo work, and it appears that it is. So it looks like there actually could be some way to do like a -- reuse chart flag. so that people could just like change a single value and not have to supply the chart or anything like that. It was not saying that the issue needs to be reopened or anything, but it was an interesting possibility. I went, huh, why do you have to do that? It looks like you really theoretically don't have to, because all the info that's needed to re-render the chart is in the release.
The manifests are, so the rendered files are, but the original templates aren't. You can correct me on that, Adam. I might be wrong.
It looks like they
Actually,
are.
I believe they are, and I think we might be able to do this. I think historically we haven't, because a lot of times charts are rendered straight from disk. And so to know if there's any changes, it had to be run from disk, but I'm thinking it might be possible. It'll take some more investigation, but I think Joe might be right.
So what's our path forward? Is it reopen that issue? Is it Joe writes a new proposal?
I think
Yeah, if you want to take a pass at it, Joe, since you've been
Yeah.
looking into it, and write up a proposal, that'd be great.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it might actually be possible. I can't exactly remember the reason why we didn't do that in the past.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I mean, probably not till after the weekend. Just things are crazy, but
Oh yeah,
I'll take a whack at writing that up over the weekend, and we'll see where we end up.
great. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. All right, now on to you, Mark, with Cobra and completion.
Thank you. So coming back every week, I have a patch now that gets rid of some code and that moves to Cobra 1.0. And it's again labeled extra large. It's really it's chore work. I move things around. It's really no risk, but I keep thinking about it's intimidating for somebody that doesn't know. So I was wondering, would any maintainers be interested in getting a completion 101 30-minute prep or something, so that you guys feel more comfortable, and then it would make it easier to spread the knowledge on it? Up to now, it's been really Fisher that's been doing it, and I just thought it'd be nice to have other people comfortable.
Yeah, I've spent some time on the completion stuff as well, so
Okay.
I can take a look at that as well. And then just if I run into any hangups, maybe we can pair through part of it.
Yeah, the truth is, I don't want you to waste time on something that's super simple. So maybe if you're willing, we could pair just so I could give you the gist of it, and then you're going to see it's the copy paste pattern over and over and over again.
Okay.
Up to you. You let me know.
Yeah, I'll ping you about that. Offline.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, and looks like the last one is Josh. And Josh, we can't hear you if you're talking. Still can't hear you. There's two Joshes though.
Sorry, my computer died and I had to come inside. So I'm talking from one of these.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, awesome. So I just wanted to kind of just give a brief update on the state of OCI stuff. So one thing is I've run into a few bugs. There is an issue that started in 3.0.3 where if you're saving charts in the OCI cache, if they're saved more than 1 second apart, they have different digests. I have Peter, who's working with me, is on the line, who he made a PR that fixes this. But there's actually a bigger issue that Matt Fisher pointed me to, is that the chart tarballs are not always deterministic. Is that true? Like if you create a use Helm package on the same directory, is there a possibility it could have a different digest or checksum?
I'm not sure on that.
Does Helm package create anything, even temporary files, while it's doing its job?
So I put a link in the notes.
Helm creates value.yaml, so it serializes the structure out of to the file every time when the package is done. So maybe
yeah.
that's
Well, no, people are seeing like if they do a for loop and Helm package the same thing, that like in some rare cases it will make a different format. And so first of all, that's bad. Second of all, like it ruins the whole point of using OCI stuff, because not the whole point, but one of the big points is that you're never storing the same content twice. So I think we have mostly a fix for this, but I think what the problem is that when you tar something, the order of the files is not guaranteed as they exist in the package.
Yeah, that could be true. But yeah, I believe if you're getting a different SHA, then that's probably a bug. That should not happen.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll continue to look into it, but I think if we can just sort the files before creating the tar, that should be it. And it seems like people it's just been open since 2018. Matt Fisher might have more context, but it seems to happen more when charts have dependencies, which I'm thinking is maybe just because there's more files. So there's that. The other thing is I have a few things on here. The other thing is there is...
real quick, back to that past issue. Is it happening? One condition where it could happen, I think, is if the dependencies are packaged as well, versus if they're not. Is it the case where you're packaging the exact same?
Yeah,
chart?
exact same chart and content. Even like, even like if people are, I don't know, I'll have to read through the issue again, but there's a bunch of examples of people who are just running a for loop in their shell, and just doing a checksum. So
I left a link to the relevant issue in the chat.
Okay, great.
That shows you the example with the for loop and everything.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a bigger issue than OCI, but I do want to get Peter's fix in ASAP, because basically OCI stuff was working better in 3.0 than 3.2. So the other thing on OCI, there's a fantastic PR that's been open for several months. I hate to come in here and say poke people to look at PR, but we did get 7 party emojis on it. So no, but it allows you to reference OCI like in your requirements to reference external OCI-based chart dependencies, which is pretty neat. And Matt Fisher had some comments that I think were addressed. So I don't know if it's just holding out on him or if someone else take a look. I have to keep bugging him, but so that's there. There's another issue where the cache seems to crash when it's too large. We're investigating that. I think it has to do with too many files being open too many chart packages being open at once. Trying to see if that's fixable. And then finally, there's like two different digests. So there's the digest, if you create Helm package, there's the digest of the tarball. That's what's displayed when you are doing Helm chart list or Helm chart save. It shows the digest of that tarball. So that is just like, without going deep into OCI, that is just one of the layers that is published to the registry, and that's what's displayed. But from a registry standpoint, the manifest digest, which is the envelope that contains that reference, might be more important. And I'm wondering if we should use that as the digest instead. Like, it's similar to when you do like Docker images and you see that little digest. We're showing it for the chart and not the manifest. And I'm wondering, are there any strong thoughts on that? I'll take that as I don't know or care. So, all right, that's all. That's all I have. But we'll keep trying to look into this checksum issue.
Awesome. Thanks for the update, Josh, on all that
Yep.
OCI related stuff. Okay, that's all the discussion topics. Let's see, we have a volunteer for notes. Do we have a volunteer for moderator or issue triage? I can moderate again. Anybody for issues?
Can somebody point me to what are the duties of a moderator on an issue triage? I was considering doing it for the first time, but I wasn't sure what I was signing up for.
Moderator is just moderating this call.
Right.
Just kind of leading through the discussion.
Mm-hmm. And for issue triaging, what do you typically do?
We have some docs on that we can link you to, but it's mostly just issues coming in, just triaging them, as well as reviewing pull requests that come in.
Okay. I can moderate the next call if that's okay with you, because I want to attend it. So somebody could take up triaging if that's okay.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I mean, I'm open to moderating the next call because I was kind of wondering what it entails.
Okay, it's also for core maintainers to moderate.
Oh, okay. No worries, sorry.
But a great place to help is to go in the issue queue and see if there's any that you want to, ask for more information on, or.
Got it.
Yeah, we could always use help for that. Just getting clarity on issues, or talking through certain issues. Figuring out if there's an actual bug, or if it's just somebody needs some support with a chart that they're working on, stuff like that.
Yep. I'm planning to join these calls more frequently.
Great.
So that's
awesome. Yeah, no, we're definitely happy to have you.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah,
and we can use the help.
In the issue triage, another thing that's really helpful is if you can reproduce the problem that the person's reporting. Because sometimes people talk about a problem and then you try it with the version they're talking about and you're like, So.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, and we have 2 minutes left, so we're actually going to finish this call 2 minutes early for once. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you on the interwebs and talk to you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.